Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Singularity Storytelling Series. I'm here with my good friend. He just got back to Austria. And if I'm not going to introduce him, I'm going to let him introduce himself because that's what he does. And I will let him take the show on from here. We've got a really exciting topic today, and I will let him share a little bit about himself.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's cool to be with you guys. I'm happy to share the stage with Isabel today. And today we're going to talk about relationship. We're going to talk about audience, and we're going to talk about storytelling. And I'm the guy behind Wild Audience. And basically, at Wild Audience, we build relationship funnels for people who start blogs and online courses. And yeah, that's what I do. That's what I love doing. I'm kind of like a techie person, but still in my heart, I'm a marketer. So that's kind of like why I focus on the whole funnel automation thing, because it's still marketing, but it's still techie, and that's what I love. And like at night, I'm in front of my computer, and I just love learning about new stuff, and I share all that stuff at my blog, and that's what I do for a living, basically, right now.
Yes, and so today's topic is all about audience building through storytelling and connecting. And many of you know that for me as a singularity storyteller, I'm all about crafting the story. And then Bastian, what he does is he crafts relationships and relationship funnels from the story. So how do you, as an entrepreneur, as a business, as a brand, how do you manage all of those relationships? Because you're going to networking events, you're going to conferences, you're meeting cool people online, you're reading their blogs, and you're like, oh shoot, who is this person that I connected with? I have this really cool course that I know they would totally be into. And then how do you gather all of those? So Bastian, how did you actually get into, because you said you're a marketer at heart, how did you get into switching from just sales funnels to relationship funnels?
Yeah, I don't know. So I was in Palo Alto in California, and I was working for a startup there. I had a mentor. His name is Steli FD. I was working for Close.io, and he taught me a lot about startups, how to start startups, how to run companies, what SaaS is, and everything. So I owe a lot to this guy. He really taught me a lot. But on some point, I was like, okay, I want to start my own thing, because I always knew I want to do this, but it was just like a matter of timing, because I didn't know like what I want to start, and I had no like co-founder or like no team and like nothing at all, right? So I was just like, okay, what do I like? I like startups, I like marketing, and I like to start new things. So I just started to with a blog basically, and write about the things and learn about the things I'm super passionate about. And then when you sit in front of a computer, like for me, that's like a lot of magic happens there, because I spent nights and hours researching stuff, learning about new stuff. And as an entrepreneur, we always love learning new stuff, right? And there's this kind of like this process happens when you learn about new stuff. You figure out new stuff, and then it's kind of like a domino effect kind of thing, And that's how I started with marketing and ended up with relationship funnels. And it's kind of like was the process. It took some months actually, and that's where the whole process ended. And that's what I want to focus on right now. So yeah.
So it's a process and an evolving thing, which I think a lot of, especially just being an entrepreneur in general, means that it's a process of discovery, and nobody really 100% knows what they're doing until it's right. And then they find something like, yes, this is the thing, and I'll have it run for I don't know how long and just test it. And I think especially online entrepreneurs, it's a big science experiment where we're testing every single day.
Yeah, like, and also like changing and pivoting and like diving deeper. So for me, for example, I started off with technical marketing, and I thought, okay, that's my thing. I want to share my knowledge about technical marketing. But then I was like, that's kind of broad, right? It's like technical marketing is kind of like everything, right? So, and I started off with technical marketing, and then I specialized more, and I started with a concept which I call audience first, startup second. So I saw all my friends like starting startups, but most of them failed. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do it different. I'm not going to start like a tech startup. I'm going to start building an audience first. And the ones that have the audience, the trust and the relationship, then I'm going to ask the audience, hey guys, what's your problem? and then figure out the problem, solve the problem for them, and then start a startup. And I thought, so my idea was that my likelihood of succeeding would, increase a lot. And that was the second thing. And from there, I did a lot of, I wrote some blog posts, I got a lot of feedback, I talked to a lot of people. That was the second thing, right? And then now I'm in the third stage, kind of. And it's even more narrow right now. So right now it's still like technical marketing. It's still like audience building, right? Like the first two things. But now it's even more narrow, and it's just funnels and it's relationship. And that's how I came up with the term relationship funnel. So that was kind of like the process, and it was like half a year or something, a couple of months.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That you did like real life funneling of your ideas. Testing and refining, and then listening to what your audience needs, which I think this is why I was so excited to talk to you, because a lot of businesses and entrepreneurs are like, I have this service, I have this product, I have this book, and it's going to be great, and it's going to revolutionize thinking and shift paradigms. And I'm like, yeah, how long have you had this book out? And do you have an audience? Do you have a platform? And they're like, no. Like, so you might have something like an amazing book, but if you don't have an audience today, it's not gonna, it could be the best book in the world, really, but if you don't have an audience, you're not gonna sell any, they're gonna be your brand ambassadors. Your audience are gonna be your brand ambassadors.
Yeah.
The ones that are sharing your book, they're gonna be the ones that you create relationships with. And I feel like the shift in business is more, yes, there's more technology, which a lot of people say it's separating and keeping us separate as human beings, but I see it as more as bringing more relationships together internationally and globally and breaking down boundaries. So I love that you're teaching startups that audience first.
Yes.
It's such an important thing.
Yes. Yeah, totally. Because most people, they say like, okay, first let's build it first, and then let's look for people who are gonna buy it, right?
Yes.
And the other, that's what like almost everyone does.
Yes.
The other approach is like first build some, create an audience, and then communicate with that audience and ask them questions, and then figure out what to build and then build it, right? So it's the other way around. Yeah. And yeah, that's why it's called audience first, startup second, and from there it goes even deeper. So now it's called how do you build an audience, right? Yeah. What I think one of the best ways to build an audience is through education. And so from audience first, startup second, it continues to education first and startup second. Yeah. And that's kind of like what I love right now a lot. So, you use education to, provide value, to deliver value to a lot of people. They see value in what you do. And in return, they will be part of your tribe, right? And that's how you can create an audience. That's how you can create an engaged audience. That's how you can create authority. And all of this is needed in order to build up an engaged audience. So that's why I base everything I do on the whole educational foundation thing.
Well, yeah. Well, you're also, and I love that you said you're also transforming how education is done in a business model, in a marketing model, in a relationship building model, which I think is basically, because the future is basically now. The education model that is going on right now in real space is an old model. It's not serving for such a rapidly shifting society because technology is rapidly shifting. Mm-hmm. And right now, to build authority and to build trust, you give people value, content, you educate them, you inspire them, you motivate them, just like a good teacher would.
Yes.
And when you do that, you're listening, you're having conversations with people, you're gathering data, and you'll notice there are patterns of, oh, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that. What's the step-by-step process of doing this? You gather that, and then you go into the final step of, I've listened to what you needed, here's a course, here's a product, here's some other, like here's a film, here's a book, based on what you guys, I've already built an audience, and here's how I can support you with this thing. And then you monetize that.
Yes. And it's also like the whole education thing and delivering value thing. There's a strategy behind it. And it's a strategy I first learned from a guy called Jay Abraham. I don't know if you've heard about him. The strategy is called the strategy of preeminence. And it's basically, I don't know if have you heard about it?
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. It's like it's like how I run my whole my entire business. It's you provide value, right? You teach, you guide, you advise, you help solve your audience's problem before, and especially before money has exchanged hands, right? And that's how you build up a tribe of people who trust you and who like you and who love your products, right? And who will buy your products over and over again. And so basically you do everything in the best interest of your customers or potential customers. And if you do this, if you use the strategy of preeminence, you just create an engaged tribe. And I think it's just a beautiful thing in business if you do this.
Yeah.
And that's how the whole relationship thing falls in as well.
So I'm sure you had to do a lot of testing, because there are rules in marketing where they say, it takes 7 points of contact before a sale will happen. And being on top of mind for people, making sure that your titles and things, your content converts. For me, I don't like to give people formulas for things, because I find people I like to help people figure it out on their own, because they find their own rhythm that works for them. But I know you're like blueprints, strategies, testing, refining, and you'll find something that immediately, if you use it again and again, people are very predictable and they'll be like, oh, this is what works for me. And I'm seeing that as a trend right now with 5-day challenges. Before, I think last year it was webinars. And then I don't know, before that it was blogs. So you read a blog and immediately you get people into a mailing list and your autoresponder converts. So there are all these different methods, which I think are great. And I don't think one method fits all for people, but that's just my opinion. Tell
me more about the method you mentioned before, the trend.
The trend, the last one, the autoresponder, the email. So
you mentioned I think the challenge.
Oh, the 5-day challenge. Yeah, so you have 5 days where you give amazing content and you engage. It's like live testing with your audience, and you have them engage with a prompt that you have, and they are doing it for their own business. By the end of the 5 days, they already got such an amazing result, or within the first couple days, they noticed increased engagement, or they made a sale, or they got more promotions or something. And then by the end of the 5 days, they're like, oh, well, I got so much value from this free stuff. Then you have something that's a paid thing. You're already gathering information quickly from people like, I'm confused on this, or I need support on this. You do a paid thing at the end that goes more in depth with.
So the challenge would be, for example, join my challenge to grow from 0 to 100 email subscribers in the first week.
Yes.
And then you guide new leads through that challenge in order to get from 0 to 100. Exactly. And they do this challenge, and then once they succeed, they see, hey, this guy's awesome. I like him. I trust him. He has good stuff. And then he converts into a paying customer. Is that the idea?
Exactly. Yeah, it's almost like live. It's live lean startup testing, teaching, going on the fly, and seeing what works. And for me, it works because that's how I work. I work in bursts of like, I don't even plan my 5-day challenges. I'm like, this is something that they keep asking me for, so I'm gonna do it. And I'm doing it one right now for actually like my process of doing my first for my first piece at an exhibit I'm doing. So in my Facebook group, what I'm doing is I'm sharing how to become your own publicist. And the first day is claiming what is it that you want to promote by the 5th day. That's internal use. That's for you to know. But on social media, you're not going to share what it is you're promoting and like, buy my thing now. Because it's like, wait, well, who are you? Why should I buy from you? You invite people into your process. You invite people into your story of like, my first day was just taking a picture of a blank canvas and then sharing with them, being vulnerable of like, okay, I'm doing my first art piece. This is scary. This is what's coming up, but I'm going to share with you the next 5 days. By the end of the 5th day, the final piece. And then that will introduce people to, if they want to come to my exhibit in Prague, this is the piece that they will see there. But they'll be like, oh, I saw your piece and how you were building it. online, then you involved me in this process and in the story and in your world and your brand. And then that creates immediate like know, like, and trust factor as a byproduct
I
of
like it. Yeah.
itself. And this is,
And what?
you know, the storytelling and your big why as a company is so important because I'm not like, if people come to my exhibit or not, I really don't care. I'm doing it more for me, and I love documenting and sharing that process to create relationships between people, because then other artists are interested, other people are like, hey, what are you up to? It creates curiosity. And it's like a live test of building relationships.
And what's the medium or what's the platform? How do you share that, on like a Facebook group or like an email list or like?
On Facebook and on Instagram. And Instagram is connected to Facebook, so it shares live. And then I have the behind the scenes, like what I'm actually doing, I share in a Facebook Live video with my Facebook group. So they can see what I'm doing on my business and personal page, but they know my intention behind it in my Facebook group. So it's ultimate transparency of like, I'm not here to manipulate you. I'm not here to persuade you to buy anything. But this is what I'm going to be doing the next 5 days. And if you want to get in on it too, here's what you're going to do. You know, and it's live interacting. It's almost taking away the delay that technology has from human interaction.
So you also encourage other people to join the challenge and do their own art thing or whatever.
Yes.
Okay, and is it like live in real time, or can you also then like make it evergreen and use the content?
I can use it evergreen. So right now, because I do like talk to people live, so then that gets rid of the evergreen part of it. But I will take the basic concepts and maybe make them into I'll put them into Rizuko, because that's just a hosting platform for my course that I want to teach after. Because literally by the end of this 5 days, I'm going to do a paid webinar that's more in depth of like how to craft your own press kit, how to become your own publicist, and that's a paid one. And then if they want to do more in-depth stuff, then I'm going to have a standalone course where they can learn like within 4 weeks, 5 weeks, everything to get them set up to be their own publicist, get introduced on the news, get on podcasts, get on newspapers, and all of that.
What is that?
That's my bird.
I was like, that sounds like a bird. Is he flying around?
Yeah, he's flying around.
Awesome.
Yeah, he wants
amazing.
Live engagement. He wants to be in on this conversation.
Amazing. That's cool.
Yeah, but yeah. So you've done a lot of testing with the relationship funnel through, because you're doing, is it mainly through email and social media?
So the thing here is the relationship funnel looks like this. So basically you start off by providing value right up front. And I do this by creating a blog post, for example. So right now I'm doing this blog post. I'm writing it today, for example. I'm going to launch it on Monday. And this is going to be the trigger to pull leads into my sphere of influence. So it's going to be, the blog post needs to be, super relevant or related to your paid online course, right? So that's how you attract the right kind of people. And then I call it promotion madness. So you like promote this one piece as much as you can through paid traffic, but also earned traffic. And that's how you get people to read them, the blog post. And if they like it, there's going to be 2 ways how they can convert from a reader into an email subscriber. This is kind of like crucial. So the first thing is the content upgrade, right? Like a typical bonus thing, like something which expands the value of the blog post. So for example, if you write about, I don't know, how to do keyword research for SEO, and then the content upgrade could be your own keyword research, the Google sheet you used in order for your blog, right? So people can, you send it to them and they can use it as an example, for example, right? So it's super valuable. So this is kind of like a content upgrade. In order to get it, you need to enter your email address so that you can send it to them, right? So this is the first thing. Some people will do it and some people won't. But the cool thing is with Facebook nowadays is that you know exactly who read your blog post but did not convert with the content upgrade. And that's how you could, go after those people on Facebook with a Facebook lead ad. So you know that person is interested in your stuff because they already read 2 minutes in your blog article. So you know the person is interested in your blog article but didn't convert for some reason. And that's when you target that person on Facebook with a lead ad. So kind of like join my 9-day competition, or join my 9-day relationship funnel bootcamp, right? So it's kind of like a bonus thing again, but you ask them to join, and you know it's going to be relevant because they already read your stuff, right? So it's going to be cheap on Facebook as well, because you don't go for cold traffic. It's actually warm traffic because they already visit you, right? They know you, they know your brand, they know your stuff, they read your stuff. So it's cheaper for you to target them on Facebook. And that's how you have like 2 ways in order to convert people from readers into email subscribers. And now, why is it important to have people on, on the email list? That's kind of like, my email list is like the home of my tribe, right? That's where everyone lives.
Yes.
And so I love my email list. We all live there.
Yes.
And that's why, for me, it's so important to get people on my email list, because that's where the magic happens. And I need to also add, because most marketers, I like the saying, like, if everyone sags, sag, and that's kind of like everything I do. I try to sag when everyone sags. So most people who have an email opt-in, they bribe you, right? They say, enter your email address and I send you 10 problems report about topic X, right? Mm-hmm. So you probably get a lot of leads for that, but the quality of the leads is going to be pretty low, because the people just they wanted the report thing, right? I do it a bit differently. So instead of bribing them, I pull them to me.
You're so for example, them. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So for example, if you look at my landing page, if you type in wildaudience.com, it's not like a short landing page and then like an ebook in the end. No, it's 3 pages, and there's like the first page, you need to read it. Then there's a button and it says continue to page 2. You need to read page 2 and then continue to the last page. And then they arrive at the 3rd page, and that's where they have the opportunity to continue the conversation, to continue the story inside on my email list, right? So that's so this 3-part landing page is kind of like the filter mechanic I use to filter out low quality leads.
It's a qualifier through your story, through the conversation you're crafting from your brand, and you're very, very clear on your intention is, you don't want to just get startups that want to make money from their audience. You're like, we're going to actually have conversations with our audience and nurture our audience and know that we're here to serve them first, which is beautiful, and such a different, it's a shifting way of doing internet marketing. That's, I think, more coming from a place of service rather than what can I take from you, which is, I think, the old model of marketing of like, how can we use people's pain points to manipulate them into giving us their money?
Yeah.
And bring in a profit margin,
Yeah.
Profit is important, but when it takes over the, what you're here to do, to serve, and your big why, then you're kind of like,
Yeah, definitely. And it's also, again, it's based on a strategy of preeminence, right? Providing value up front. And some people may say like if you have such a long 3-page landing page, so many people will jump off. And I'm like, yeah, jump off, guys, because those people, they won't buy anyways, right? And because they're interested in something else. Because when you read that 3 pages, it's not like nonsense and like annoying stuff. It's like super amazing secrets right up front, right? So I provide value right up front, before email addresses have exchanged hands. So if you're interested in topic X, and that that landing page is exactly about topic X, you'll be reading and like, wow, this is awesome. He's providing a lot of value right up front. And then you start a conversation on this landing page, 3-page landing page, and then in order to continue the conversation, to continue the story, you need to jump on board, right? Step inside and enter your email address. But they will gladly do, because they already know you provided so much value right up front. They trust you now already, right? And then you continue the conversation on the email list.
Yeah.
And that's where the magic happens. it's where you can you control the storyline, right? You control how you communicate, when you communicate, and you control everything basically. That's why I like email lists so much, because you can pull people towards you if you use the strategy of preeminence. And that's why I use email marketing so much, and that's why I like it so much.
This is why I invited you, because I'm like, he's my go-to email marketing person. Because I get your emails because I'm on your mailing list, and it's a conversation, and it's not anything that's like, okay, here's my special offer of this, and da da da. It's like, no, we're still having a conversation, and if you're interested in this boot camp, that's awesome, but here's still some great content for you in the meantime. And
yes,
you're planting seeds and relationships with people rather than, you know, and you have smiley faces in your emails.
yeah, smiley faces.
You've made it personable and human, and you're making technology more human. Whereas I think there are a lot of people, I remember, like in a lot of entrepreneur circles and old sales model circles, people sign up for webinars, and it's a lot of going around in circles. And then there's no value ever given until the end. We're like, okay, if you want to find out more about this, it's $900, and then you sign up here, and then you do this other webinar where it's the same thing again, and then here's some more money you have to drop together. And I think they give like one nugget of wisdom, but
yeah, I know what you mean.
it's like fishing almost, like reeling people in, but you have to pay some more money to get this new thing, and pay more money and pay more money, until you finally get to the end where you're kind of already out of money, and then you find out something you already knew.
Oh man, that would suck.
You know, I
But
mean,
yeah, I know.
not that it's like it's that extreme, but it's like it's something that I see as a trend. Like even some YouTube ads that I get, it's like, here if you want to learn more, and then it's leading people into the website without giving any value at all. Like at least give some value.
Yes.
Not bait.
Yes. Yeah, right. So it's always about giving value, but never give everything, right?
Yes.
But you need to give a lot of value right up front. So I read something about a guy who said he gives away 90% of his knowledge for free and 10% paid. So that's an extreme as well. But I think you should give a lot of value right up front. Blog posts, and then the RBS, which is the relationship builder sequence, which is the relationship builder sequence you were talking about. So you receive like 9 emails, which are like 8 lessons, and some of them have a link to the sales page once the trust and relationship is established. But that's what I call the RBS, relationship builder sequence. And it's you use storytelling, you use engagement techniques to make people wait for your next email. It's kind of like a series of Lost, for example, or I don't know, Gossip Girl or Gilmore Girls.
Exactly. It's like real life. It's the content that's making you excited. It's like you go on a date with somebody for the first time. You're like, oh, they didn't give everything away the first date, but I know we're going to go get coffee, and they're going to share some more stuff, and they're really interesting, but they're still mysterious enough that they got my attention. You know?
Yes. Yeah. Totally. So like when you like watch one of these series like Lost, right? You have this episode, and you love it. It's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of tension and conflict, whatever. And it builds up and it builds up, and then at the end, it's like, I don't know, like there's the good guy and the bad guy, and then you hear a shoot, like a boom, and then it goes black, right? And you don't know, did the good guy is the good guy dead, or the bad guy, or someone else shot them, right? You don't know, and you have to wait for the next email to get the answer. And and that's what's called a cliffhanger, for example. And that's like techniques I use to like make people wait for my next email. And like I get people to reply and like, hey, Basti, what's up? What happened to this guy? Like, why? Like, send me the email. Like literally, like 2 days ago, I got an email like this from an email subscriber called Luisa. That was pretty cool. So that's kind of like what I aim for, to get that kind of engagement.
It's like a science and an art at the same time, because we're using words, we're using images, we're using video to get people engaged with the story, and you're live testing it with every email that you're putting out, and you're getting live reaction and feedback from people. And sometimes there's no feedback, sometimes there is, so you're just hoping for the best, and you're still showing up because there's something that's bigger, that's pulling you to do this work. And I think that you seeing the trends in startups as your, well, I don't know, I'm just inferencing and guessing your big why for why you made, audience first, or audience before startups first, is because you saw people crafting all these startups and then failing because they were not starting an audience, and you know how important an audience is.
Yes, and the relationship with each individual in the audience, that's the most important thing. And like, because I was part of a course, for example, and everyone was focusing on building the email list. Everyone, I want to get to 10K. I want to get to 10K in 1 year. That's the goal.
Yeah.
And first I was like going with these guys, and then at some point I was like, is this the right way to go? Is like 10K the right way to go? Or is it less people but have a more engaged audience, right? And that's when I can like turn away of this, I need 10K, I need 10,000 people on my email list, I need 10,000 people on my email list, but more like I need a couple of 100,000 or like maybe 1,000, 2,000, whatever, but like have real engagement with each and everyone. So that's kind of like, that was one of the shifts I had as well.
Yeah. And I think it goes again back to quality versus quantity, and you can have both, because you can have, like you said, 1,000 people that are really engaged, or you could just, with just a small really engaged list, you might not have as many conversions, but with a little bit more, but they're still engaged, you might get some more. With 10,000, you're going to have a lot of people that are just, you're paying for all those people on your list, first off.
Yeah.
And a big chunk of them, let's say, with conversion rates being like 20, 20% of those people will convert. And yeah, that's a good chunk of people, but you're still paying for 80% of people that are just, not engaging, not interested. You're taking up space, you're taking up their energy in their inbox, and it's not anybody. So you might as well be intentional with the people that you serve, and the people that stick around are going to stick around, and the ones that don't, and it's fine. But it's like a slow grow rather than rapid, unsustainable growth.
Yeah, like I was always like, okay, everyone builds one-page landing pages. Everyone bribes people to get them on the list. Everyone goes for email list size, and everyone only converts 1%. So if I only convert 1%, does that mean 99% of my email subscribers are not interested in what I'm talking about, like what I'm teaching about? That would suck. So I was like, if everyone does that, if everyone sings, I'm gonna sag, right? There it comes again. So I did everything differently. 3-page landing page instead of 1 page, no bribe, but pulling them towards me, and not size but relationship. And then if you do this, you have less people, but those people you have are like super highly targeted people, and your conversion rate is gonna fly through the freaking roof because your stuff is so relevant to them.
Yes.
And it's a different approach, and that's so far.
I think also you said you played around with Facebook ads and retargeting ads. So that's something I haven't. I mean, I've done similar work for other clients. For me, that's too detailed for me, where I'm like, okay, I have to go and get a retargeting pixel and put it on this page, and then how did you get involved with that? And then what has been your experience with?
Yeah, so actually last week I locked myself into my room, and like 1 week only Facebook ads, and I got really hooked. I tried a lot of things. You take like I didn't even spend like $100 in a week. So I think around $100. That's what I invested into my Facebook education. And after this 1 week and after this $100, I tried out every kind of ad. I read so much. I talked to a lot of Facebook advertisement experts, and now I kind of like understand the game kind of thing. I even like try to. It's pretty cool. Like I'm going to Italy for summer holidays, and I'm going with a friend. But I actually wanted to go to Norway. So, but like I was like, okay, let's change plans and go to Italy. So I challenged myself to ask him via a Facebook ad. So, but I want to target only one single person, not everyone else, right? Because I only want to go with him to Italy, right?
Yeah.
And so what I did was I just created a landing page, wild audience / Italy, and then basically what you can do is you take the Facebook ID from a Facebook profile. It's pretty easy. There's like a website called, I don't know, Find My Facebook ID. You enter the Facebook profile URL, then you get the ID. You get like 19 female Facebook IDs and 1 male. And the male one was my friend, right? And then you say, you tell Facebook, only show the ad to the guys. And since there's only one guy, only one person will see the Facebook ad. So he was the only person who saw the ad. And that was pretty cool. So that's how I target, like how specific you can go with Facebook ads. So it's a pretty cool challenge.
Did it convert well?
It's only him. So it was, I don't know, how much did it cost me? Like about $1 less, 80 cents or something. That was pretty cool.
That's so funny. Yeah, and it's knowing these tools and knowing how the online system is played out that will give you the knowledge and the know-how to test.
Yeah.
Again, it's a big test.
Yeah. Again, so like my biggest finding in Facebook ads the last week was getting cold traffic from Facebook and like try to convert them like, into your email list and like whatever else is pretty expensive. So instead, again, use education, use a blog post, drive traffic to the blog post and get people to read the blog post. Once you get people to read the blog post, you're able to create custom audiences on Facebook. So Facebook will know which Facebook profile read the article. And then once the person read it, he's like marked with a pixel. And then you can target that person with your Facebook ad. It's going to be much cheaper because, as I said, the person knows you, the brand, the blog article, and it's easier to convert that person. And it's much cheaper. So rather than like getting cold traffic, try first get cold traffic to an educational blog post and then retarget them with a lead ad. That's the better way to go on Facebook ads because it's just much cheaper. And so I'm going to incorporate. And the cool thing is when you fuse, or what's the English word? I don't know. Like if you combine an RBS, a relationship builder sequence, with an evergreen Facebook ad funnel, and you combine those funnels.
Oh my God, they're just cool.
But yeah, that's something I'm trying out next week. And the cool thing is all evergreen. So you set it up once and it runs if it works.
Well, any final words of wisdom for somebody that's maybe just started, or maybe they've been around for a little while, but they're seeing maybe that, they don't want to have a massive list. They're seeing the same kind of advice everywhere. And what zag advice would you give to this person that entrepreneur, or maybe they're a startup, and they're getting online, they're building content, but what's they're feeling like, okay, how do I monetize this? How do I get to this next level?
So I don't know, like I would start with 2 things which helped me the last months a lot, and it's not like a formula or anything. It's just like pretty general, but it's huge. So the first thing is a story I first heard. And it's about Bill Gates and Warren Buffett when they first met. So Bill's mom invites Warren and Bill for dinner, and all of them, 3 of them, they sit on the dinner table. And then Bill's mom asked Bill and Warren, "Hey guys, like, why are you guys so successful? What's the single reason for your guys' success?" And then both look at each other, and then at the same time they say one word, and the word is focus. And when I heard that story the first time, I was like, whoa. I kind of like dropped everything, like canceled everything, and just decided, okay, what's my single focus?
Yeah.
And just do this. So that's the first advice, because I started a couple of months ago, and I was like, this marketing world is so amazing. Like I can do this and that, and like, ooh, it's cool. And then once I started with the focus thing, it's like that was the point when I started to grow and get people on my list and things happening and things, turning my dream into reality. It's all focus. So that's the first thing. The second thing is narrow down, like be as specific as possible. So don't create an online course about technical marketing like I did at the beginning, but be focused, right? Narrow down, be very specific. Create a course about automated funnels for online courses, so it's one thing for one person, not everything for everyone. Because if you try to be everything for everyone, you're nothing to no one, right? So be specific and focus. That helped me the most.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Any tips on focus?
On focus?
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Like what I do is I always have 90-day goals. So I have like a sprint of 90 days, and then I say, okay, where do I wanna be after 90 days? I write it down. Then I take each month, create like a sub goal of each month, and each sub goal leads to the big goal of the 90 days. And then every time I do something, let's say I'm in the first month, and I know that this is the goal of the first month. And every time I do something, and I'm like, should I do it or should I not? Does this help me to get to my first goal? If yes, continue. If no, no. So I have like a list of things I want to do later, but now it's not the right time. So
yeah,
that's kind of like what I use to frame. Do you have anything else, like a different framework or?
I have. For me, what helps is getting specific dates down for different things I'm launching, and then I write down financial goals and what are my income producing activities, and then all the stuff that I don't do that's not income producing. It's my fun stuff, my networking stuff, and always like once a week or twice a week at least, I'm going out to network. I'm going out to meet people in person. I'm going out to speak or do workshops, things like that, because that's the direction I'm heading more into, is more of the speaking.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and that feels like a lot of fun. And all of the stuff that we're learning online, the relationship building funnels is also replicable in real life. So the same way I network and built my business online is the same way I built my business offline, is going out and talking to people and being friendly and giving value immediately on our first phone call or our first coffee together. And they're like, oh, well, if you want to do a workshop here? I'm like, yeah, sure. And it starts growing from there and slowly over time. And that's the thing too with this. A lot of people are like, how do I get this really quick? And how do I make a lot of money really quickly? And I'm like, you can, but not in a systemic, long-term, sustainable way. Like, yeah, you can go clean out your closet, make some money that way, go volunteer, do some babysitting, do some, copywriting for somebody, help out with the lawn. Great, that brings in an income. But if you're not clear on, like you said, your 90 days of like, okay, in 90 days, I want to be doing 2 speaking engagements a month. I want to have my book out. I want to have this much income coming in. Then you can't really flow. So for me, dates for specific things, income goals, and a lot of, for me, mindset work around, especially for a lot of the women I work with, were a lot of stuff about like, am I worthy enough to speak in front of people? Do I know enough to be speaking around a lot of people? I work with a lot of artists and creatives, and they're like, who am I to be having this gallery show? I'm like, you have a permanent gallery show in this part of the world. Of course you have. So a lot of mindset work. Every day. That's the thing I'm disciplined on every morning, like 2 hours. Awesome. Meditate, yoga, gratitude journaling, and just getting into that frame of mind, because then I get my flow state. I get into that state where I'm 100% focused. And then when I get out of focus, I'm like, oh, wait a second. Okay, I need to go take a break. I need to go eat. I need to go talk to somebody else or another entrepreneur online and get back into that flow.
I like it. And to end this thing up, there's one last thing I want to show you guys. I bought it and it's so freaking awesome. It's a window marker, and you can like write on your mirrors and on here on my windows, and then on my shower. I write everywhere, or here on my cupboard. It's so freaking awesome. I bought them like for $7. I'm like drawing all over my place, and it's pretty awesome. I like to like,
smart. Like I have similar thing, but it's just like putting papers on the wall, and like, okay, I have an idea, I got to put this down and having it. So
yeah, it's kind of like the same thing, but the window markers you just draw and you can
just like open it up.
Erase it. Yeah. So that's the best.
Thank you so much for joining me on the interview and sharing your experience and your tests and what you're learning for others. So if people want to sign up for your mailing list and want to learn more or connect with you, how can they connect with you?
Connect, just go to, just write me an email, B at wildaudience.com. That's my email. Just shoot me an email, ask me a question, whatever. And my website is wildaudience.com. And there you have, the 3-page landing page. You can check it out. You can check out my funnel and, hack it or whatever and model it. It's, go there, check it out.
Thank you.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you so much, Isabel. That was a lot of fun.
Yes, so much fun. And for those of you that are just new to the Singularity Storytelling series, you can join the Singularity Storyteller Facebook group. My website, isabelrizzo.com, where you're getting clear on your story in 5 days. And then you can go to wildaudience.com and then build an audience around your story. So thanks again, Bastian, for jumping on the call with me and sharing your wisdom.
Cool. Thanks so much.